What's up everyone? I hope all of you guys are doing well. Today, I'm going to be ranking my personal favorite Christmas movies based on how much I enjoyed watching them. But I'm also going to be fair, so I decided to rank them based on their reputation. These are all movies I love for different reasons, but sometimes nostalgia isn't enough to simply overlook the flaws of a film. Some of these movies are a chef's kiss, and others, well, let's just say that they didn't exactly age like wine.
Yes.
Every time I think about Christmas, 4 things come to mind: food, seasonal depression, and Home Alone 1 and 2. These movies are the Christmas classics. Kevin McAllister versus two dudes just trying to make some easy green, a must-see anime battle. Except it's more like a torturous compilation of Harry getting that "trust me bro" smoking hot haircut, and Marv using his adamantium skull to break bricks with his head. The first Home Alone has everything: the perfect balance of holiday charm, comedy, and an emotional ending that had everyone's grandma crying, including me. You go from laughing at Joe Pesci's Turkish hair transplant gone wrong to tearing up when Kevin reunites with his mom, a scene that had me hugging my mom after her trip back from Walmart. Plus the soundtrack, absolute perfection to my ears. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, basically the same concept, but now Kevin is the rat vigilante of New York and for some reason has unlimited access to his dad's credit card. A lot of people think it's not as good as the first one, but I honestly enjoy this one a little more. The hotel shenanigans and the bird whisperer lady subplot were actually pretty good, even though the lady scared the absolute shit out of me as a kid. The first Home Alone would land in the masterpiece tier and the sequel would go in the actually good tier. The Nightmare Before Christmas, this one is like that cute goth girl at school that no one talks to, but is the solution to everyone's problems and the cause of every guy's problems. Is it a Halloween movie, a Christmas movie, or just a really good movie? The stop motion animation was ahead of its time, and the musical scores, absolute bangers. Jack Skellington's arc, going from Pumpkin King to Santa on a diet,
My name is Gustavo.
is honestly a little relatable. Who hasn't tried to be someone they're not during their lifetime? One of my personal favorite movies ever made, one that's always enjoyable to watch regardless of what age I am. This one deserves to be in the masterpiece tier because it's unique, timeless, and Danny Elfman's music is everything. The Polar Express is one of those movies that either gives you warm, nostalgic comfort or haunts your dreams with Tom Hanks' uncanny valley conductor. For me, it's a combination of nostalgic enjoyability and remembering that I have to pay my rent and bills. This movie nails the idea of believing in Santa and the power of a good old cup of hot chocolate. The animation was groundbreaking for its time, even if the characters look like NPCs from Oblivion. But let's talk about that train ride. Adventurous, a bit unusual, and adrenaline-inducing. Like the scene where the train swerves off the tracks, I remember being on the edge of my seat while watching that as a kid. I'd put this in the actually good tier. Elf, the only movie on my list that I didn't watch as a kid, but as a teenager. I remember watching this in high school and laughing my ass off while the rest of my class was just staring into my soul like NPCs that caught an arrow to the knee. This movie has no right being as funny as it is. Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf is chaotic, hilarious, and somehow wholesome at the same time. The only other person I see playing the elf is Jim Carrey because he's actually a good actor with range and not one-dimensional like The Rock.
Yeah, I blew a load into a box of film one time.
And let's not forget about Zoe Summer singing that one song. The story itself is pretty straightforward. Even if you're the one going through a midlife crisis in your family, this movie will have you smiling. It's an easy masterpiece for me. The Grinch. Jim Carrey's version of how the Grinch stole Christmas is pure chaos, and I love it. Carrey somehow manages to be over the top and nuanced at the same time. His Grinch is actually really funny and even a little relatable, like when he debates whether to go to Whoville. But also because I sometimes feel like telling kids that Santa isn't real. The whole aesthetic of this movie is just awesome, and the story's heart is still there under all the jokes and the facial expressions that Jim Carrey makes. It's almost like he's trying to hold the shit in. It's a solid masterpiece for me. Alright, now for one of the more divisive ones on my list, A Christmas Carol from 2009. Okay, just hear me out. This movie is a unique take of Charles Dickens' tale, and it's definitely an interesting one. Jim Carrey plays Scrooge as well as the three spirits that visit him. Each character he portrays has a different look and feel, which adds to the surreal, eerie vibe in his overall range. Scrooge's character arc is the main part of the story. He's a greedy old dickhead visited by the spirits of Christmas past, present, and future. Some scenes are kinda horrifying, especially with the scary animation. It's not the warm, cozy version of A Christmas Carol you might know, but it still shares just a message of change and hope. I remember loving this movie as a kid, and even today I still do, but I can't be blinded by nostalgia here. The movie just has so many issues with its pacing, and although I thought the creepy tone was okay, it was one of the main reasons why many people didn't like it. I really don't think it deserves all the hate that it got, but I'd still put it in the good/bad tier. Only because I think it's okay, but everybody else thinks it's bad. So this is the best I can do, to be honest. Jingle All the Way. Now, I really don't understand the hate for this one, but I can also see why critics didn't really like it. The story is about two dads, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad, who try to get their hands on the Temu version of Iron Man, Turbo Man. I'll be honest, I low-key wanted this toy as a kid. This is basically a movie about dad on steroids playing a game of cat and mouse with an Amazon worker. Unfortunately, my nostalgia couldn't save this one, so I'm just going to be honest. It's not exactly a memorable film. Even though I thought the story was okay in my terms, I can see why critics didn't really like it. The plot was kind of predictable and cliche, but hey, you'll have a good time watching it. I'd put this one in the good/bad tier for the same reasons. People didn't really like it, but I thought it was okay. And there you have it, my favorite Christmas movie tier list. What do you think? Was my list valid, or should I never be allowed to give an opinion ever again? Let me know in the comments what you guys thought, and feel free to share any personal stories that you may have with these movies. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good Christmas.